This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Very honored to be part of the lineup here on 77 WABC. More honored today than usual because it has been a phenomenal day or two here at WABC. Maybe you heard about this, but we owe it all to you. Thanks to your incredible support, we have achieved a ratings milestone that would make any radio station proud, a 5.0 share for the station as a whole. Now, that's not unusual for the overnights or even late nights, but for the station as a whole to get a 5.0, that's tremendous. That's unheard of. That's a number from another era. You heard that right. 5.0. 5 out of every 100 radios last month were tuned to WABC. That is our highest since 1979. Back when WABC was rocking the airwaves as a music station. It's a rare moment, and it just goes to show how powerful and loyal our WABC family really is. First, a huge congratulations up and down the dial to all of my colleagues, Sid Rosenberg, Dominic Carter, Brian Kilmeade, Curtis Lewa, Bill O'Reilly, Rita Cosby, James Golden, Greg Kelly, but of course, John Catsimatidis, the man that makes this all possible. But really everyone who pours their passion and expertise into the broadcasts you tune in for day after day. Together, we've built a team that not only entertains but informs, challenges, and celebrates the vibrant city of New York. It's not every day that a station hits a landmark like this, and it's because of the dedication, insight, and pure heart that every one of these professionals bring to their show. But let's face it, the real credit belongs to you, our listeners. You've made this possible by sticking with us, by calling in, and by sharing your lives with us each and every day. It's your feedback, your laughter, your stories, and yes, even your criticisms that fuel us to keep pushing the boundaries of what great radio can be. And for that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I'd be remiss if I didn't extend my gratitude once again to the man who's made all of this possible for me, our owner, John Catsimatidis. John's vision and belief in WABC's legacy have given all of us this remarkable opportunity to be part of such a historic, influential station. His leadership and investment in quality radio have paved the way for moments like this. Now, we don't have our show's specific ratings yet, but if the stars aligned, perhaps we were number one once again. Either way, what matters most is being part of this great station and being able to share these airwaves with you. Thank you, New York.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Choosing a bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drink that's all flavor and just 100 calories? Easy. Choosing between creamy vanilla, double chocolate, and sea salt caramel flavors? A little harder. Try the delicious new Starbucks Frappuccino light drinks. Look for them wherever you buy groceries. Start with Starbucks coffee.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Mayor Eric Adams is taking a stand against divisive labels, and I, for one, think he deserves credit for it. Adams could have easily joined other prominent Democrats who've been quick to label Donald Trump a fascist in recent weeks, but instead he's choosing to be a voice of moderation, urging everyone to turn down the rhetoric, a sentiment that carries a lot of weight in blue as New York. Now, of course, it's fair to note that Adams may have his own motivations for not calling Trump Hitler. He's facing legal battles, and Trump has publicly expressed sympathy for his situation. Adams might be hoping that Trump, if reelected, could help him out down the line, but does that really take away from the importance of what he's saying? I don't think so. Adams is taking a risk by standing apart from his party's current stance, choosing instead to speak in a way that isn't as polarizing.
And they're talking about these real problems we're having. And with all that's going on to everyday New Yorkers, we're asking questions that is someone a fascist or is someone a Hitler. That's insulting to me. That is insulting. And I'm not going to engage in that. Everyone needs to turn down the rhetoric. Because after Election Day, we still have to be the United States and not the divided states. And so if people can't understand there are real issues facing New Yorkers, and I just find it just humiliating that what everyday mom and pops are doing and going through across this country, that here we are having this conversation about this silly item. So I refuse to participate in that. I'm going to fight for New Yorkers like I've done for years, and whomever can understand that, they're not in the streets. When I'm at these town halls, talking to people there, they're not asking me these silly questions. We are in this bubble, you know, and I know you guys really believe these stories you're writing. It gives you a lot of clicks. It's exciting. It gives you headlines. But this is not what New Yorkers and Americans are dealing with, folks.
Refusing to label political opponents as fascists is essential for dialing down the temperature in the heated political climate we're all living in. Words like fascist carry enormous historical weight, and Adams, as he points out, knows exactly what that word means. His unwillingness to use it lightly is refreshing and frankly responsible. In a time when accusations and extreme labels fly freely, it's encouraging to see a politician like who, regardless of personal interests, speaks to a broader concern. Politics is temporary, but we all share this country for the long haul. When Election Day passes, we're all still Americans, whether or not we agree with who sits in the Oval Office.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Yesterday, right around this time, I did a radio commentary where I was talking about the race for the 23rd State Senate District in New York State, which is located in New York City. It's a bi-borough district, and I mentioned that this is one of the most competitive districts in the city. It's really one of the few competitive state Senate districts in the whole region, quite frankly. It's one of maybe only 2 or 3 within the 5 boroughs that actually you don't know who's going to win, meaning the Democrat or the Republican. And I mentioned that. And I mentioned that if you're a Republican looking to get involved in a local race, because there are so few competitive races, maybe here's one that you'd want to get involved in. I don't want my remarks to be construed as knocking the Democratic candidate in that race at all, because it strikes me as equally true that if you're a Democrat that's looking to get involved in a local race for the general election, that this might also be a race you want to get involved with as well, because there are so few Democratic competitive races at all. That's kind of the broader point that I was trying to make. So the incumbent that's running here, State Senator Jessica Scarcella Spanton, I don't believe I know her personally, but she's got a pretty good reputation among a lot of the elected officials that I know, both Democrat and Republican. They all seem to like her. They all seem to work with her. The other day, I was talking about what Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis is doing in terms of the Department of Education and getting them back on track in terms of providing services for the disabled or people with special needs. Senator Scarcella Stanton has been a big part of that, and she has no problem working with Republicans. She's not out there calling Republicans Hitler or Nazis or anything like that. And she strikes me as a very serious person, a mom who's married to a combat veteran. And one of the things, as somebody that's concerned with crime, that I should mention that she's done is she actually pushed through a law. As a freshman is not an easy thing, making assault of a retail worker a felony, punishable by up to 4 years in prison. So it's going to be a competitive race. I don't know who's going to win. I do think this is a chance for the Republicans to potentially pick up a seat, but I didn't want to be seen as taking a shot at the senator there because she really is, from what I can tell, a real independent voice in Albany, who is kind of the elected official that we need more of, not somebody that's going to march in lockstep with Democratic or Republican talking points, but kind of works with anybody that has a good idea. So whatever you end up doing, I hope you study both candidates, look into the race, and be sure to vote, because I have a feeling this race could be very, very close, maybe one of the closest in New York City.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
If your brain is at full capacity with to-dos, birthdays, and dinner plans, meet Skylight Calendar. It syncs your entire family's schedule onto a sleek digital display, so you focus on important things like where you left your coffee. Right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $30 off their 15-inch calendars by going to skylightcal.com/talk. Go to skylightcal.com/talk for $30 off your 15-inch calendar. That's skylightcal.com/talk.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
It's time to address some recent backlash directed at NYPD Chief of Patrol John Chell for making an appearance on Newsmax during Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. Critics claim that by sitting down with Newsmax in full uniform, Chief Chell was somehow taking a political side. But frankly, that criticism is totally misplaced. Chief Chell was simply doing his job, providing the public with information on the security situation at a high-profile event. Let's put this into perspective. Chief Chell did multiple interviews that day, at least 10 by all accounts, with a range of outlets that included CBS, NBC, Fox 5, WPIX. So why is his appearance on Newsmax the one drawing outrage? Newsmax is admittedly a conservative-leaning network, but just because a news outlet has a particular slant doesn't mean officials should avoid it. In fact, part of Chell's responsibility is to ensure public safety messaging reaches everyone across all media platforms, regardless of their political leanings. This isn't about taking a side, it's about fulfilling a duty to the people of New York. Yesterday, Mayor Adams defended Chief Chell's actions, stressing that he was simply doing his job. Here's what the mayor had to say.
I ask all of you, go look at the interview and tell me what Chell did that was wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. And just because you dislike an outlet, that is not enough to say we should not be interviewing with that outlet. If that endangers your whole freedom of press. That's what all of you talk about. That endangers everything you say you believe in. Freedom of press. Either you have freedom of press or you don't.
On this one, Mayor Adams gets it. Our public officials have a responsibility to reach as wide an audience as possible, especially in a city as diverse as ours. If you're only willing to speak to outlets that match your own worldview, that's when you truly start politicizing the job. The real issue seems to be a double standard. Imagine the reaction if Chell had avoided Newsmax altogether. The criticism would shift to accusations of bias against conservative media. Public officials are in a tough spot. Appear on outlets that don't match someone's politics, and they're politicizing the office. avoid those outlets, and they're accused of bias. In the end, Chief Chell didn't endorse any political candidate or issue during his Newsmax appearance. He gave a brief, professional update on security at a high-profile event, an update that many New Yorkers wanted to hear. And if that information reaches a segment of the public that may not normally follow mainstream outlets, isn't that actually a good thing? Let's focus on what matters. John Chell is a public servant working to keep us safe, and sometimes that means speaking to audiences on both sides of the aisle. We're walking down a path of censorship and selective access to information.
Beam me up.
To be continued.